I had an unconventional childhood. I was raised in a church that was kind of more of a spiritual, metaphysical type church that my grandma had started in the '60s, and my mother was a pastor in that church, and so um, it was not Christianity. It was kind of loosely based around it, but I think that the problem I ended up having with it is that it was too much on my shoulders and not enough on God's shoulders, and that led to great times, but eventually what happened is there was no rock for me to really lean on. There was no foundation, and in the Bible it talks about a house of sand, and that's eventually what happened. Is there was not a real structure there for me to really rely on, and my experience is that the first sign God will give you will be a very subtle one, a little whisper, maybe an experience or a voice in your heart. And we usually deny those first few or maybe 100 if that's what it is. And 2011 was interesting for me because it was coming off the heels of 2010, which was a very painful experience for me to watch all of my brothers out there be experiencing something that I had always dreamed of. And so I had a car accident. I think it was the first series of the year. I had a car accident, got hit by this guy pretty bad. Flew in therapists and went crazy for 2 days and made my start. And a week later I blew out my foot in a very odd foot injury that baseball players don't really experience. So that caused me to look inward and really just say, all right, something else is going on here more than baseball injuries. And I think God has an ability to break us down, whether it's mentally or physically. At some point, there's always something that turns us and says, you know what, I'm just going to give up control and I'm going to give it to you. And, if you want to break me down after that, I'll accept it much more willingly than I did before. And so, yeah, in 2011, I committed to Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. And, that was a really important thing because there's a thing in the Bible about idolatry, false idols, and that was something that I had focused on my whole life. Put more power in myself, other people's opinions, whatever it would be, career, than God. God was kind of like fourth or fifth on the list, and so I got a tattoo in September, after, and it's a golden calf. It's a real basic thing. It's my only tattoo, and it'll probably be my only tattoo for the rest of my life. But it reminds me always to not worship those false idols and to remember who's first, and that's God. So it's really nice to be here with you guys. Thank you.